We're going to pick up with this number 10 video where I left off when I was talking about messages in the left column of the settings app. So I had showed you your Apple ID, and you can add another. This is how people will reach you at iMessage, but you don't need to be concerned with that. And you can add another email if you want to, so that you can text from other emails, but I never do that. The next thing is FaceTime, and it says your phone number and or email address will be shared with people you call. I believe you need to have that on or it won't work. And again, it shows you your Apple ID, which you would use with FaceTime if you ever needed to. Respond with text. Oh, you could click on, sorry, I can't talk right now, I'm on my way, whatever, if you wanted to. Those are quick responses that would be available if you respond to an incoming call with a text. So like if you're driving or something, that might be nice. And I believe you might be able to add ones that you want to, so custom quick responses. So that's FaceTime. And you can block certain people if you want from getting phone calls, messages, or FaceTime, but I don't have any yet. Maps, I believe this is the Apple Maps, which looks a lot like the Google Maps, which is much better, the little icon does. But sometimes you might use the Apple Maps. So you have to have a separate app for the Google Maps, and that's on your home page. But this one, I just went out and filled the preferences for that. So you want it in miles rather than kilometers. You want the labels in English. And if there are any issues, you want them to follow up by email to your normal address. For Safari, this is your browser. And here I have selected the search engine as Google. So that would be the default search engine if I ever want, when I search. Search engine suggestions and Safari suggestions are not on there because are not allowed by me, because sometimes they pop up and sort of get in the way. Although I wouldn't really mind this one, I guess. I wouldn't mind, well, I don't know. You can change that if you want. Quick website search, not sure exactly what that means. Use the smart search field. Search within websites, typing the whole name. Anyway, it's just a faster way to search, I think. Preload top hit, no, I don't want that. It usually, that means that whatever the Google has decided is the top result for your search, it's going to automatically load it rather than waiting for you to select which one you want it to load. So now we're down to general. So for passwords, enter iPad passcode for settings. Okay, I don't know what that means. I don't know why that's there, so I'm not going to look at it. Maybe it's to change them, I don't know. Autofill, use the contact information. I'm allowing that. If you don't want it, turn it off. Automatically fill in names and passwords. I'm not sure why that's there. It does say or credit card information, but I'm not sure that's, see, the credit card I don't allow to be automatically filled in. Saved credit cards, again, that's something I don't know. And the last one in this section is news, which is a new app, and that's for like reading current news and stuff like that. I don't usually use that because I'll just use Huffington Post or Google News for my news. I don't allow background refresh because then it would really be updating all the time for new news, and I don't want it to do that. However, if I ever do go there, I want it to show the previews, just a couple of sentences about what each entry is about. Privacy, oh Lord, I don't know about that. Acknowledgements, I don't care about that. Okay, now we're going down to other apps. These are all media things. So music, videos, photos, iBooks, podcasts, and Game Center. So for music, I have selected some of these things to be available. This would be how you sort things. The genius thing is they want to suggest other things you might be interested in from ones you looked at or purchased. I don't usually use that. iTunes Match, that's another thing that's trying to give you things you'll be interested in, but I believe you have to pay for that. Volume limit for the playback is off. I'm not sure why that is. And equalizer is off, and I'm not sure why that is. You'll just have to look at it. Your home sharing, and I don't exactly know what that is. I believe it has to do with different people sharing the same iTunes account, but I don't know. So that would be your email address. Your Apple ID would be used for that. Videos, start playing where they left off is what I have suggested rather than from the beginning. Show iTunes purchases in the Videos app. Sure. More about that. More about the home sharing. Photos. Automatically upload and store your entire library in iCloud to access photos from all your devices. Now, I have that, but I'm not sure that I think that it would be useful for you even if you don't have more than one device. I think that's just saying automatically upload and store your all of your library photos into this thing online called iCloud.com. I think that there are a limit of like 1,000 photos or something like that, but since I bought more storage, I don't try to keep up with that. Now here I've got download and keep originals rather than optimize, because optimize is going to scrunch all your photos again to compress them, and that may not be as good. I think I just said this somewhere, so anyway. Upload to my phone. I just talked about this. This seems to be having some of the same things that the other setting did, but maybe there are more. So summarize photos, shows every photo in your library in all views. You can choose compact summarize views for collections and years. I believe I've done that so that the photos are tiny for these collections and years rather than being huge. The camera, I don't want the grid showing all the time. Want to record video at the regular rate, not at the, or at the higher rate, not the lower rate when possible. And the camera, that's what I said. Keep the normal photo. So you'd have to read about this. This takes 3 separate exposures and then saves the best one or averages them or something like that. But this also keeps the original photo. I think. I don't remember seeing a whole bunch of doubles in mine, so I'm not sure what that means. iBooks. Now, this is just how you would read them when you put them on your, if you ever get any books and put them on here. I don't think that I have any on there right now. But you, like I said, you can get free ones if you, in various places, and I'll have to talk about that later. But if you read them, you want them to be fully justified. This has to do with where the text would be on the, and how it would look on the page. And you want it to hyphenate automatically. This you want to be able to use bookmarks, audiobooks. This just says, okay, if I listen to an audiobook, I want, when I hit the skip forward, I want it to be 15 seconds instead of 10 seconds or whatever. And podcasts, this allows the background app refresh, and I have that on because I want my most of my video podcasts available when I want to listen to them. But that's a little confusing. This only download on Wi-Fi, which would mean it wouldn't be using data, but you wouldn't be doing that anyway. Refresh every day instead of every 6 hours or whatever. I didn't put manually because I did want it to just go ahead and refresh, but it doesn't seem to always do that, so I'm never quite sure what that means. limit episodes, I have that off. So if there are 100 episodes, there will be 100 episodes. Download, this just tells you how that's going to work when you listen to it. If you want to change these things, you can here. Accessibility, custom colors, based on, this is not going to matter to you at all. Game Center, I don't even use the Game Center. It gives you a lot of games for free, and I just don't use games from their Game Center, so I don't have anything there. Twitter, I don't think you have an account, but if you do, you can go ahead and create an account for that and then use it. You do have a Facebook account, and this shows what your settings are and who you're allowing these people to use your account, meaning they can message you from Facebook, for instance. Flickr, you don't have that. That is a humongous free photo and video, I believe, site, which allows you, and an app, if you get the app, works better, but you can just go online. And you can put as many photos as you want to. I think they're up to 1 terabyte of space that you can have for free, which is basically unlimited. And a lot of people use that as it's one of the main photo sharing, is that the word I want? Where you can put all your photos and arrange them in albums and all kinds of things like that. Vimeo, I've never used. It's another of the place. It's like YouTube, sort of. I don't really know too much about it. I occasionally run across a thing from there, a video from there. Now, the next section, which is fairly long here, goes from, these are apps that you have put onto your yourself. So you've gotten the Amazon app. You've got this C2C AM app, because I put it there. These are all ones that I put on there, actually. You can remove any of them if you want, but a lot of them might be of interest to you. Obviously, Instagram will be, and Gmail, and Chrome is your alternate browser besides Safari. This Appsgonefree is one of the ones that I was telling you about, where you can get apps. You can look at the apps. I don't think it gives you, it doesn't really give you too many options for that. Amazon, I allowed to, some of these things just have options and some don't. The Gmail, you can see how I've set these up if you want. There are other places where you can change the settings for these, I think. And again, there's so much stuff here that I get confused. But that's the bottom. Let's see what it has for YouTube. So I have allowed YouTube to access your photos and allowed it to, otherwise it's going to be hard to put your photos or your videos onto YouTube because you haven't given them permission to access it. And I've allowed it to background app refresh. YouDoodle is kind of fun. And it doesn't have that. So we're not really telling you what these things are. Okay, so that's the settings app. And maybe I should stop. Vimeo added apps. Because there are a few more things that I want to say that I either left out before or just needed to talk about. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here.